So a couple notes before we actually dive in. If you want to ask questions, feel free to ask them along the way. We'll try to answer questions that are in tune with what we're talking about. If they're not in tune, we'll wait till the end. We'll answer some then. Steph and I have given this presentation before, although I changed a good amount of it for today, based on some stuff that we know works better than kind of from when we originally gave the presentation. And Stefan, anything you want to add before I jump in?
Just excited to have everyone with us. Thanks for taking some of your time to join us.
Yeah, super happy to have you guys here. Looks like we got about 150 people on, which is awesome. I'm gonna pull up the chat so that I can see what's going on. Sweet. And also, Stefan, remind me like halfway through we'll do a selfie with everybody. And you guys can post it to Instagram, Facebook, wherever, tag us in it, so we can see who is on the call.
Cool.
All right, so who is ready to learn how to create an offer that brings in $1 to $10 million in sales each year? Pop something in the chat if you are excited and ready to learn. Let's hear it. Scott said, let's go. All right, now the chat's blowing up. Let's hear it. I need a little energy. It's like 8 a.m. in Hawaii and I'm barely half awake, so awesome. All right, so let's jump in. So kind of the big main question you want to ask here, why would you want to create $1 million offer? And there's obviously tons of reasons for this. Everybody's got their own reasons for why they want to have their own offer. A couple of ones that really stand out to me is leverage. So you get paid for years from the work that you do one time. This is probably the biggest thing that separates kind of someone who owns their own offer versus someone who's, let's say, writing copy as a freelancer, or you're working in-house somewhere. You have leverage when you have your own offer. Second thing, new customers. Pretty much all the money that's made in direct response businesses comes on the back end. So a lot of people, they acquire customers at break even, which means you spent $1,000 on ads. You bring in $1,000 in net revenue and you're kind of even for the day, and you got a bunch of new customers, which is a great situation for you because you have all these customers now that you can make money selling them other products, other services on the back end, which is pure profit. Third thing is ownership. The reality is you make a lot more money owning an offer than you do writing copy for offers and buying traffic for it. Nothing wrong with being a copywriter, nothing wrong with being a media buyer. Both Stefan and I have done it, and Stefan still writes copy for people. The ownership, though, is where you can really make a lot more money. We're going to kind of dive into some examples of that. So I used this example last time I gave the presentation. I think it's a really good one. So Hollywood is a really great example of why ownership is important. So let's think about who are the richest people in Hollywood. Feel free to pop some ideas, answers into the chat. I want to see who you think, who's the people who have the most money in Hollywood. Pop them in the chat. I'll read a few of them out. So some people said agents, producers, directors, people who get the rights to the content, Disney, actors who get a cut on the back end, studios, Spielberg, popcorn sellers, Stanley. Okay. So I think if you asked your average person, they would start thinking about people like Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, all these people that make $20-30 million a movie. They're probably worth a good amount of money, but the reality is they are not the highest paid. And we're going to go into why. And the reality is really like the actors are peasants compared to the people who have ownership in Hollywood. So looking at a couple of these net worths, these are all obviously have no idea if they're true. These are from celebrity net worth stuff, which Lord knows how accurate it actually is. But Tom Cruise somewhere in the $500 million range, Brad Pitt somewhere in the $300 million range, Leo somewhere in the $260 million range. Obviously very, very rich, very wealthy, never going to struggle for money. They can do whatever the hell they want. However, the people who actually have ownership in Hollywood it is a whole nother level of wealth. So someone like George Lucas, who obviously created Star Wars and sold the entire Star Wars franchise and all the rights to Disney, is worth around $5 billion. Isaac Perlmutter, who I believe he's the guy behind Marvel. Is that right, Stefan? You probably know better than I would.
I'm not 100% sure honestly who that is.
Okay. I'm pretty sure he's the guy behind Marvel, which I think was sold to Disney as well. Worth like $4 billion. And then Steven Spielberg, who's the director behind Jurassic Park and God knows how many massive movie, E.T., all the huge movies, worth somewhere around $2.5 billion. So a huge amount of wealth for these guys, especially compared to the actors. So kind of the big takeaway here is, like I said, having the ownership of a real asset, which is an offer, which is what we're going to be talking about today, is how you can truly get wealthy. So we're going to look at a couple people in our space who have $1 million offers to just kind of show you what's possible. Nick Daniel of V-Shred, one of the mastermind members for Copy Accelerator. They actually have multiple offers in the health fitness niche. They're on track to do over $200 million this year. So these guys are crushing it. Mike Bontempo, an amazing media buyer, has an agency, also has a BizOp offer about Facebook ads. That's going to do over $1 million in sales this year. Jared Nations, Jared's super smart entrepreneur that is in the financial niche. He has an offer that'll do between 4 and 6 million in sales this year. Mattia, the Italian stallion, my man. So Mattia's got a cool kind of niche. They do everything in the Italian market. So everything's literally written in Italian. And it's specifically for the Italian market, which is very different than the kind of typical American market. They're going to do anywhere from 2 to 3 million over the next 12 months. Jonathan Boyd, Jonathan's a great copywriter, created his own offer in the music niche, teaching people how to play guitar. That's going to do a few $1 million in sales this year. Jeremy Reeves, same thing, former copywriter, decided to start his own offer. He has a digestive supplement. Last time I talked to him, I think they were doing around $1 million a month. So I think they were on pace to do 5 or 10 million in sales. And Connor Boylan. Connor was an email marketer before, working for someone, I think making 3 or 4 grand a month writing emails every day. Decided to launch his own offer in the dating niche, and Connor's offer is going to do somewhere around $2 million in sales this year. So as you can see, there's lots of people creating $1 million offers in a wide variety of niches. Both Stefan and I have helped people create $1 million offers in a bunch of different niches. So survival, health products, real estate, golf, e-com, financial, dating, financial stuff, business opportunity, supplements, guns and tactical stuff, music education. So there is all kinds of niches out there. We're going to dive into a little bit of the different niches in a bit here. But before we do that, quick kind of breakdown of who we are. So this handsome man here on the screen, Stefan, you want to get a little just.
Yeah. So, hey, what's up? I am Stefan. I use my hands and gesture a lot when I'm talking, as you can see from that picture. Passion of mine. Sold a lot of stuff online. I've also built a lot of different kind of offers and businesses that have grossed over 9 figures in sales. I helped some company back in 2015 that by 2017 had done over 23 million in revenue. All that actually like 24 million, but 23 million in a single year. I've partnered with a lot of other kind of ventures, including other health supplement companies that have gone on to do as much as 9 figures in a single year. Right now I'm doing a JV with a company that I'm becoming a 50-50 partner in that is doing around $60 million a year right now via e-com, but we're rolling out a ton of kind of VSLs and sort of like white hat, like kind of long form stuff to try and grow that to 400, 500 million plus. I write a lot of sales copy. I'm active with that. I'm sometimes, I don't know, I'm one of the best active copywriters in the world. And I feel like that's not even I kind of have the proof, right, with the sales. And yeah, and I run Copy Accelerator with Justin, where we teach, we train, we coach, we mentor, we help people with getting better at copy. We help people with scaling their businesses and their offers. And it is an awesome privilege to be Justin Goff, the Justin Goff's business partner. And so with that being said, let's let him introduce himself.
Awesome, man. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Justin. I've created 17 plus multi-million-dollar offers. Those are offers that I either own myself or I was consulting on them. Either I wrote the copy or I helped with kind of the funnel strategy or things like that. So if you don't know my story, I was broke back in 2010. I was a month away from being dead broke. Thought about moving back in with my parents. My whole business kind of at the time was just falling apart, and I literally did not have a pot to piss in. And wound up kind of turning everything around and became a multimillionaire by 2017. So kind of went from broke to multimillionaire in about 7 years. My biggest offer did 19 million in a year off of one product. My biggest business did 23 million in a year. That was a supplement company. I'm a huge dog lover. I do a lot of pro bono work with dog rescues, helping them to raise money so they can save more dogs. And I live in Austin, Texas, where I moved about 5 or 6 years ago, although I am currently in Hawaii right now and enjoying it here. Maybe I might buy a second home. We'll see. So anyways, what we're going to share with you today, over the next 60 minutes, we're going to share how you can create an offer that does $1 to $10 million in sales in any niche and without a ton of experience. All right, so who is ready to dive in? I want to hear some stuff in the chat. Who's ready? Yes, we got a couple rolling in. We need more. Awesome, there we go. Awesome. So we're going to focus on the 4 big things that really matter when creating $1 million offer. So the one big thing, the reason we simplified this, I called it the simplified offer system. Creating an offer is really freaking complicated and confusing, and there's like 9 million things you got to do. But the reality is there's like only a few things that actually really matter. Like if you just get these things right, you're going to do pretty damn well. So let's jump in. Step one, if you're already ahead of this part and you already have a niche and stuff like this, obviously this will be kind of a refresher, but for people who don't have a niche, picking your own $1 million niche. So certain niches are simply more profitable than others because they're in higher demand. I've always said any niche kind of in the big 3 is always a smart choice. So the big 3 breaks down to health, wealth, and relationships. And there are tons and tons of sub niches through each one of these, and I'll show you some examples of this. So in health, we could do something like weight loss, which is obviously a huge, big, broad market, tons of weight loss stuff. You could do disease specific stuff. So you could have products around diabetes, you could have products around prostate stuff, you could have products around memory. There's gender, age specific stuff. So like fat loss for men over 40 or reignite your testosterone for men in their 50s, stuff like that. There's trendier stuff, keto, paleo, carnivore. There's fitness stuff. So we got P90X, home workouts, yoga, all that kind of stuff. So that's just within health. I mean, those are just a couple ideas that are within the health niche. I mean, honestly, if we wanted to really list them out, we could probably list out hundreds. So within every kind of big $1 million niche, there are sub niches. So look at a couple examples for wealth. If you're teaching people how to make money, you could teach them how to save for retirement, which is pretty much the whole Agora model, which is all about how to have a nest egg and not run out of money in your retirement. There's personal finance stuff. Someone like Ramit Sethi teaches personal finance, teaches you how to manage your money, teaches you how to make more money. Get out of debt is a big niche. Jay Diebold, who's in our, Jay does credits. No, I mean, debt and credit obviously kind of related, but Jay does kind of fix your credit stuff and has a massive business running infomercials and YouTube stuff. Get out of debt. That's kind of like Dave Ramsey's obviously probably the most famous person in that category and has a massive business built upon that. And then business opportunity. So ways to make money, whether that's starting your own business or learning a new skill, however that is, a way to actually an opportunity to make more money. Last one here. So we said it's health, wealth, relationships are kind of the big three. Relationships, it tends to be more about dating, meeting a woman, getting laid, stuff like that. The women's niche is a little more about getting a man to commit, how to find a deeper relationship, stuff like that. Dating after divorce, that's kind of more of a sub niche. Sex coaching for men and women, that's obviously more of a sub niche as well. So anything that revolves around relationships usually is a pretty good idea for a niche as well. Other profitable niches. So we talked about health, wealth, relationships. There's also obviously other ones. There's a lot of hobby related niches. So learn to play guitar, gun enthusiast, gardening, knitting, scrapbooking, survival prepper stuff, golf, biz op, online marketing, real estate, food and cooking, language learning. One of my kind of rules of thumb is anything there's a magazine for, you can probably make money in that niche. So if you go to the store, there's going to be a lot of, you'll see gardening magazines, you'll see cooking magazines, you'll see prepper magazines, you'll see all that stuff. So pretty much anything there's a magazine for, there's a good chance you can make money doing it. So kind of my recommendation when it comes to picking niches is pick a niche that's profitable, but also one that you actually enjoy. So this is kind of a mistake a lot of people make. They just pick the one that they think they can make the most money. Well, let's say you're doing financial stuff and you have no interest in like reading or talking about or thinking about financial stuff. There's no way you're gonna be able to build a successful offer or successful business if you're not really interested in it. I mean, you want to pick something that you'd be interested in talking about, learning about for the next 3 to 5 years. All right, so other profitable niches. Once you have your niche, it's time to zero in on a specific product. So let's say we pick golf. Just kind of want to give you a good example here. So we don't want to make a general get better at golf product. That's not really what people want. We want something a lot more specific. So something like how to hit 300-yard drives that'll make your friends jealous. That's a lot more of an emotional appeal. It's something that's a lot more specific, and it's actually what the market wants. So find a niche, like I said, that's already has successful businesses in it, something that you're actually into and enjoy, and then come up with offers and product ideas that tap into that kind of core desire, i.e. how to hit longer drives in golf, which we just talked about. So we're going to go into kind of the next step here. And I want to preface this one with saying, if there's one thing you could do to make sure your offer is successful, it is this one. If you take only one thing away from this whole, if you take only one thing away from this whole presentation, I want you to take this away, because there's no better shortcut for knowing exactly what to say and what not to say, and what kind of appeals and what kind of stories and what's actually going to work within your market than studying the top 3 to 5 offers that are currently working in the niche that you want to create an offer in. Most people, Steph and I have this happen all the time, where we talk to people who create an offer and it'll look nothing like the other offers that are currently working in the market. And we'll even ask them, like, all right, what are the top offers working in your market right now? And they don't know. If you don't know what the top 3 to 5 offers are in your niche, you have no business creating a product, because you haven't done enough research on the niche yet. You need to know each of these offers inside and out, and you need to, I'm going to show you how to break them down and figure out what's working with those and what's not working. So like I said, one thing, if you could take one thing away from this, it'll be this. We'll go into some more detail, but I want you to really kind of sink this and sear it into your brain.
So one question people always ask is, like, I can't remember if you go into this or not, but like, how do you know that an offer is working? How do you know it's a top offer?
So a couple of easy ways. You should be on, I mean, this is another thing, like, if you're not doing research, if you're not on all the email list in that niche, you have not done enough research on the niche. So you have really no business creating a product. It's honestly, I mean, we see this all the time. It's shocking how many people are not involved in the niche at all that they're going into. They just simply, they're not on email lists. They don't look at the offers. So the step one is get on all the email lists of people in that niche, buy products from people in that niche, and see what is being promoted. The offers that are being promoted over and over again are the offers that are working. The other way you could do it is simply ask in a Facebook group like Justin and Stefan Talk Copy. Hey, I'm thinking of going into the men's dating niche. What do you think are the 3 top offers that are working right now? It's really not that complicated trying to figure out what offers are working. Like I said, either do the research yourself or ask. But you have to do that because otherwise you're kind of just firing blind. So like I said, the best way to know what will work for you is to study what is currently working. So we're gonna look at some examples. I'm not gonna actually like open these, but weight loss offers that are working. So if I wanted to do a product in weight loss, Metacore, Gundry Reds, and Research. These are 3 of the biggest ones that have been working for, I don't know, probably 2 years now. If you're on any list in the health niche, people are promoting these offers over and over and over again. And when they keep promoting offers over and over and over, that's because they're making money with them. And that means they're working. So here's kind of, when I say break down the top 3 to 5 offers, and you really need to know what it is they're doing, here are the things I mean when I'm talking about breaking it down. So what are the main pain points they target? If it's a weight loss VSL, what are they targeting? Is it feeling uncomfortable in your skin? Is it looking in the mirror and realizing that you don't look like you did when you're 25? What are the main pain points that the offers that are working that they're targeting? What is the main promise? Weight loss is usually not about health. It is usually about vanity and confidence and feeling good, and feeling better than other people around you. So if 2 or 3 of the offers talk about that as the promise, then your promise should be similar. If you're creating a weight loss offer, your promise should not be about how this is going to improve your health. Like I said, you want to study exactly what they're doing for the offers that are working. So what is the lead like? We know that the lead, by the way, on a VSL is like the first 2 minutes. The lead on a sales page is like first 2 to 3 pages. The lead is the most important block of copy on a sales page or in a VSL. What kind of lead are they using? Is it a big emotional story lead? Is it some type of contrarian lead where it kind of goes against the grain? You want to break this down on all the top offers because you're probably going to find some similarities with the offers that are working. What is the price of their offer? There's no reason to reinvent the wheel when it comes to price. If everybody in your niche is selling a $37 ebook, start with a $37 ebook. And then you can eventually price test and see if you can get any better, but just start there. There's no use trying to do something different. So what kind of story do they use in the VSL or the text sales letter? Is it this big emotional kind of like revenge story? Is it a story about a woman who was out to dinner and she sees her ex-husband with a blonde girl that was 25 years old, and now she's jealous because she's put on weight and she's not dating? Like, those are stories that are used in weight loss VSLs all the time. Is that kind of story in there? What's the unique mechanism that makes the product different? So we're going to talk a little bit about unique mechanisms, but everything, whether you're selling a supplement, an ebook, a course, whatever it is, you need to have some little unique thing that makes yours different than the other stuff that is out there. What format is everything in? Is it a VSL? Is it a long form sales letter? That is a lot of data that you want. If all 3 of the top offers are VSLs, then you probably should create a VSL. What does the checkout page look like? Where are they getting traffic from? And lastly, what's the first upsell? This means you're gonna have to buy the product. What's the first upsell? What's the price? How's that upsell set up? So if like I said, you really want to study the crap out of the top offers that are working that you're going to be modeling. These are the kind of questions you want to ask. So dive in. Like I said, a lot of people when they're like, oh yeah, I've researched the market, they don't do anywhere near this type of depth when it comes to researching the market. So I want to pause and take a break right now. Is this helpful, kind of eye-opening for you guys so far in terms of telling you what you should be looking for with other offers that are out there? Awesome. Like I said, I mean, Stefan, do you want to chime in on this at all? I mean, it's we reiterate this over and over and over and over again. It really is, it's shocking how many people don't study what's working.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that I agree. And then people come with like these offers that are like, you know, people want to create an offer without doing the research, and then you're just like, right, the whole failing to plan is planning to fail type thing. I mean, this is part of your planning process, right? Like you really need to understand the market, understand the other offers, understand your competitors, understand why. Think about it, you're gonna understand why your customers that you're going to be going after are buying, and be clearly defined. And if you don't see anybody else doing what you're doing, like if you have some really amazing, innovative, world-changing technology, like that's one thing. But it's like if you're just sort of selling a supplement for some random thing that like you're like, I don't know, I think people will like it, but nobody else is selling that, like it's usually a bad sign. Like, you know, you want to be doing what is working and you can innovate within that area, right? Like, but yeah, no, I think that is just really important, and then getting specific enough, you're really understanding it. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think you're covering it pretty well.
Good.
Oh yeah, so last thing, Justin, is like, I just feel like in general, like be creative. I just would encourage people to like be creative as you do your research. You know what I mean? Like, because like people are always like someone in the group was like, where can I find Clavio training, Stefan Georgi? And it was like, fucking Google it. Like, I'm not being a dick, but like I hate the people who are always like, Google is your friend, right? But at the same time, it's like, I don't like, you know, take action too. Don't wait for somebody you can ask people in groups and stuff like, you know, hey, what offers are working in the space? I'd love to know. That's great. But like, don't be like, roll up your sleeves and get dirty. Find out, you know, like use Google, you know, take action, take initiative and things like that. And you can find a lot of information as well.
Yep. So here's just kind of a breakdown of, so we talked about, let's break down the lead on the top offers. So the one for Metacore, the lead is action video shots of a heartbreaking story. There's real dialogue, there's quick video cuts. It's a story about a woman nearly dying. So it's like this really emotional, heartbreaking story to start, and it lasts 2 minutes. Research, there's an action video of a guy running on a treadmill. It basically looks like an Instagram story. He passes out, he nearly dies. Cuts to this emergency room scenario. The guy might not make it. That lead lasts like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Gundry Reds is a different kind of opening. It opens with a controversial, interesting statement about how energy is actually different from what people think energy is. It has Dr. Gundry on camera. He's talking about how energy works and why you feel so tired and run down. That lead lasts about 3 minutes. So I would break this down even more in reality, but that's kind of an idea of what I mean when I'm saying you look at each one of these little sections here and break them down and compare them. Really, the biggest thing you're looking for is this. You break down the top 3 to 5 offers and you want to figure out what they have in common. Once you know that, you have a great blueprint for what your offer should look like, because there's a reason all the top offers are doing certain things. If they're all VSLs, there's a reason for that. If they all open with this emotional, heartbreaking story, there's a reason for that. So you want to find the things they have in common, the things that you see come up over and over again. If you analyze 5 offers and 3 of them have something, there's a good reason for that. So you should probably have that as well. And one other note, this is when you're creating your offer and coming up with what the copy is going to be like and how the format is and all that, this is not the time to be creative. Your offer, really, the best offers should be about 80% similar to what is already working, and then 20% unique. And usually what's unique should be the mechanism or the story you tell. So that's the time to be creative. it's not the time to be creative when you're like, oh, I have this new blah 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 weight loss thing, and I think like if you're selling something in weight loss, find stuff that already works and has been proven to work, and then literally what's unique about yours is going to be the mechanism or the story. That's the part where you want to get creative. All right. So, like I said, I really, really want to emphasize this. This is probably the third time I've emphasized this. This is without a doubt the most important thing you can do before creating your offer. If you don't know the top 3 to 5 offers in your niche, like down pat, everything about them, you haven't done enough research. And like I said, pretty much, I don't know, 90%, 95% of people that we talk to who create their own offers do not do this. And it's a huge, huge mistake. All right, so let's take a quick break. There's 2 more we're going to dive into. Stefan and I said we want to do a quick selfie with everybody. We've done this on the last couple webinars. So we're going to stop sharing for a second and we'll pull it back up. Basically, grab your phone and you guys can take a picture with Stefan and I here. We will basically make stupid faces and you can get pictures with us.
Let's switch your view to the side by side or whatever it was we did last time. I think that's better. Otherwise, I'm just a little box above your head, I think. Or maybe not. I don't know if you already had that. I have it on speaker view on my end. But can you guys see us side by side, or do you see me above Justin's head? Side by side? Okay, cool. Never mind then. All right.
Yeah, so basically grab your phone and go like this and take a selfie with Stefan and I.
Oh, which way to point? Point this way? Back to back, you know, we're just leaning.
All right, cool. So hopefully you got a picture there. If not, you can snap one while we're still talking. Feel free to tag us on Instagram. We usually will repost these. If you read a story on Instagram, it's Jay Goff and Stefan is what's yours? What's your Instagram?
At Stefan Georgi.
At Stefan Georgi. Feel free to tag us. If there's some good ones, we'll repost them. Cool. So back to what we were talking about. So we went through breaking down the offers. Next is finding your unique mechanism. And I talked about this is the part where you get creative. And this is the part that really differentiates your product from others. So it's kind of the special sauce, the special thing that makes your product or your offer work. And it really solves what makes this different from everything else I've tried. So I got a bunch of different examples here of unique mechanisms. I really like a lot of these. So P90X, that was the huge infomercial hit, I don't know, 10 years ago now. Workout programs where you basically follow along workouts. They were super intense. And the whole mechanism of P90X was the reason why your workouts in the past didn't work is because you kept doing the same exercises over and over and your body got used to it. So the solution, muscle confusion. So muscle confusion was the big unique mechanism here. You change up the exercises every day so your muscles never get used to it and you keep getting more fit. That's why P90X works and other stuff doesn't work. So that's kind of what a unique mechanism is. And every offer has to have a unique mechanism. Another good example, when it comes to landing big clients, we had this concept that we helped someone with called whales versus minnows. And it was basically the reason you can't get whale clients is because you're speaking minnow. So whale clients, the ones who have a bunch of money, they have their own language. And once you start speaking whale language, you'll attract bigger, better paying clients. That was a really good one, I think, for the kind of consulting client getting industry in terms of a mechanism. Another one, the respect principle. This is actually Jordan Hall's for his women's dating advice book. It's about how to get a man to commit to you. And the mechanism is men can't distinguish between love and respect. So when a woman shows him respect in a few key ways, the man can't help but commit to her. Really kind of just very, I don't know, like logical. Yeah, you hear it, it makes sense. It's a good, and I think a lot like women will probably hear it and be like, okay, that makes sense. And it seems pretty easy to do. So a really, really great mechanism. And we know it's a great mechanism because that offer has been crushing it for years and years and years. Another one from the golf niche, the single plane swing. So the regular golf swing forces your body to move too much, thus you end up slicing and hooking everything. The single plane swing keeps everything in one line, so the only place the ball can go is straight. Like I said, very logical, very easy to understand. You hear that and you're like, oh, that makes sense. So the single plane swing is a unique mechanism that really appeals to a lot of people in the golf niche, which are usually 60 and 70-year-old men who realistically can't move their bodies that much anyways and don't want to move their bodies that much anyways. So the single plane swing is kind of a great mechanism for that. This is probably my favorite mechanism ever. The genetic response. This is from a infomercial for a fishing lure. So fish instinctually go after dying minnows because they're easy food. And the banjo minnow, which is this minnow that was sold on an infomercial, it flops and moves around like a dying minnow. So fish are literally genetically wired to go after it. And the result is you wind up catching more fish. So it's not just this basic lure. What makes it unique is the genetic response. And it makes a lot of sense. It's like, oh yeah, like fish, why wouldn't they go out? Like that's what animals in the wild do. They go after the easiest kill, the easiest bit of food. And so if they can find a dying minnow, they're going to eat that. And this kind of mimics that, and then kind of naming it genetic response. Great little name there for that mechanism. All right, I'm gonna pull up the chat real quick. So far, helpful for you guys. Awesome. Great. All right, so unique mechanism, let's kind of do a little recap. It has to be something they haven't heard before. If your mechanism makes them go, oh, I've heard this, it's not unique enough. You really want something that's they haven't heard before. It also needs to answer the question, what makes this different from everything else out there? Oops. I'm actually not sure. I meant to delete these, but all right. So we went over picking your niche, studying the top 3 to 5 offers, and then your unique mechanism. So that's 3 parts of having $1 million offer. Part 4 is dialing in your first upsell so it converts at 40 to 50%. Every $1 million offer that scales and is doing over $1 million a year has a first upsell that converts very well. 5 years ago, this was not the case. Now it's a necessity. You have to have a really good first upsell that adds serious average order value to your order if you want an offer that does a lot of sales. So the first upsell is really where 70 to 80% of your upsell revenue is made. And without a good first upsell, like I said, you can't have a scaling $1 million offer. So let's look at what makes a good first upsell. So there's multiple factors like how it's formatted, whether it's in video or text, the length of it, how you start the upsell. All these things are super, super, super important. But the most important thing by far, nothing is more important than this with the first upsell, is that you have to sell a product that is congruent with what the customer purchased on the front end. Nothing matters more when it comes to upsell conversions than the actual product you're offering and how congruent it is with what they just bought on the front end. So we're gonna dive into that. And actually, as an example of this, getting the right product into upsell number 1 helped me take an upsell from an 11% conversion rate to a 43% conversion rate. So that's like a 4x in conversions. Basically all from switching the product that we were selling. So the product in the first upsell is what matters the most. So we're going to look at some examples of highly congruent first upsells that convert. And we'll do a little game here called which upsell will win. So on the front end, let's say the customer bought an ebook for $39.95 on fixing their hormones so they can lose weight. Which upsell out of these would be the best fit? A, done for you meal plans for hormone friendly meals. B, hormone friendly workouts that accelerate weight loss. C, a supplement that helps accelerate weight loss by fixing hormones. D, resistance band to do at home, hormone friendly workouts. Pop your answer in the chat of what you think it's going to be. Which one would be most congruent with what they bought on the front end? Okay, so in most situations, C, the supplement that helps accelerate weight loss, is going to work the best here. The done for you meal plans, A, would probably be second best, and by no means would be a bad upsell. That one would do pretty well. So to kind of explain this, if they bought an ebook on fixing their hormones, the supplement helps them get results faster. So that one's going to do well, and it doesn't really take any effort on their part. They just take the supplement. The done for you meal plans are kind of similar. They're done for you. It's not a whole lot of effort on their part. The other ones, workouts, are obviously going to have some resistance to them. It's like a lot of people buy diets and stuff, but they don't want to work out. So they're just not as congruent in terms of fixing the hormones as the supplement and the meal plans. So let's look at another example of this. So like I said, we're focusing on the congruence. Let's look at another example. So on the front end, a customer bought a 3-day pack of survival food for $14. Which upsell would be the best fit? A package of 53 different guides on crucial survival strategies, how to can food, how to survive storms, filter your water. A larger 3-month supply of survival food. A water filter that allows you to drink water from any source, like a lake, a river, a pool. A course on how to grow your own food in your backyard. Pop your answer in the chat. Let's go through it. All right, so a good amount of people got it right, but a good amount of people did not get it right. So if they bought a 3-day pack of survival food on the front end for $14, the most congruent thing we could sell them would be a bigger package of that survival food. So they bought the 3-day pack. Now let's try to sell them a 3-month pack. So answer B, the larger 3-month supply of survival food, would work so much better. And I know this because I helped with this offer and it crushed. So they just bought, it's kind of like the old McDonald's supersize me thing, where it's like you get the small Coke and you can upgrade to the supersized Coke for 25 cents more. That's what this offer is. They just showed you that they're interested in buying survival food. So you should try to sell them more survival food. That's really what this boils down to. That's the most congruent thing.
Justin, I'm gonna let you. Jennifer asked, but how do they know they want the 3-month supply if they haven't tried the 3-day supply yet? Maybe the food sucks.
Yeah, and I mean, that's something you would address in the objections. There are certain people that would not upgrade to the larger size, but on the majority of people will upgrade to a larger size of something they already bought. They have shown you their intent that they're interested in buying survival food by purchasing the 3-day pack of survival food. So you know that about them. You have no idea if they'd be interested in learning how to grow their own food in their backyard, or learning how to filter their water, or all this other stuff. You're really just guessing if you're thinking they'd be interested in that stuff. You know for certain that they are interested in survival food. So selling them more survival food is the best kind of mechanism, or the best way to go here. Let's look at one more. So on the front end, a customer bought a $39 ebook on fixing their credit score. Which upsell would be the best fit? An advanced version of the credit book they bought on the front end, so it has more tips, more tricks. A software that fixes your credit for you. an info product about how to make an extra $400 a week, a subscription service that updates you on your credit score each month. What do you guys think would be the most congruent with what they bought on the front end? All right, so a lot of people guessing B, and B is the correct answer. So they just bought this book on fixing their credit score. If you can do something that's done for them that solves the problem that they just bought that book for, so they don't have to go through all the hassle of fixing it on their own, that is always going to be the best upsell. So a software that actually fixes the credit for you. As an example, this is already being run on Jay Diebold, who's our Copy Accelerator member, on his funnel in the credit niche, and it absolutely crushes. It's doing like, I don't know, 45% conversion rate on the first upsell, from a $39 ebook to I think it's a $99 upsell. So that just shows you how important getting the offer correct on the first upsell is. So biggest thing to take away from the upsells is your first upsell has to be congruent with what they just bought on the front end. It's by far the most important thing when it comes to the upsell conversions. So let's look at everything we just kind of covered. If you want to create $1 million offer, there's a bunch of stuff you need to do, but you really need to get 4 things right. So picking the right niche, starting there, finding the unique mechanism, studying the top 3 to 5 offers in your niche, and then having a high converting first upsell. These are all things that really matter. Like I said, if you're launching an offer, there's 50 to 100 things you need to do to get it all up. But these are the things that truly matter. A lot of people get bogged down in the details and focus on stuff that really doesn't matter. Like someone's already asking about the second upsell. The reality is the second upsell doesn't matter anywhere near as much as all the stuff we're talking about here. So focus on the stuff that really matters. Focus on the stuff that actually moves the needle. So like I said, you don't have to get everything right to have $1 million offer, but you do need to get these 4 things right. So let's look at how you can create your own $1 million offer. There's really multiple ways you can go about this. One, you can kind of go at it alone. You can pick a niche, write a sales letter, build out the back end of your funnel, put it all together. You might launch your offer and see it take off, or it might not. You'll probably make a lot of mistakes and waste a significant amount of time. That's pretty much what I did the first time. First time I launched an offer, and actually a lot of subsequent times that I launched an offer, just made tons and tons of mistakes. Or you have another option, and that's to have some of the best marketers in the world to show you how to do it. So I'm talking about marketers like myself, Stefan, Dan Ferrari, Rich Shefferin, Josh Snow, Ian Stanley, Saba Karimi, Chris Haddad. We are going to all be meeting in Scottsdale in August and talking exactly about this. You also would be able to meet and connect with a lot of the big dogs from places like VShred, Agora, Performance Golf, Credit Secrets, Trugenics, Golden Hippo, tons and tons and tons of these huge companies that are doing really well. We're going to be gathering in Scottsdale. We're going to show you how to create and scale your own offer, whether that's to 50 sales a day, 100, 500, or even 1,000 sales a day. That's kind of what our events are about. There are 4 copywriters, there are 4 offer owners, and there are 4 media buyers. It's a pretty hardcore direct response event. We talk about things like exactly what we've been talking about on this call. And we talk about stuff that's working now that helps you create and scale an offer on cold traffic. So this is the actual meetup for our mastermind. So our mastermind meets up twice a year. And people in the group pay between $15,000 and $45,000 a year to be in the group. But we actually allow people to sit in on the event, so you can apply for one of the few sit-in seats for just $1,450. It is an application to get one of these seats, so you have to be screened by Blake from our team to see if you're a good fit. Stefan just popped the link to check out the event in the chat. You can read about the event. You can see everything about it on that page. But I do want to show you a quick kind of video from our last live event in Vegas. This one's going to be live as well. It will also have a virtual component for people who can't travel if you're stuck in a country that's not allowing you to travel right now. Stefan, by the way, can you hear the audio?
Not yet.
Okay. I think I'm about to unshare and then reshare. Yes, sure. All right, so I just wanted to get this. This will give you a little flavor of what our live events are like if you've never been to one.
Everyone is here to sort of uplift
people that are doing 7 to 8 figures in their business. I've made so many connections.
Starting out my journey into freelancing, and I knew this was like the place to be.
Unreal the amount of takeaways that you get.
That seminar at Vinci, really.
Our goal is to make you better at converting your offer on cold traffic.
The sales rate is converting at like 9 to 10% off cold traffic. So made 30,000 acquisitions in the first month.
That's what this mastermind is about. That's what our events are about.
Stefan's one of the first guys that I really looked at his copy, and it's kind of what's helped to get me to where I am.
What's going on, guys? This is Vince with vshred.com.
Just one little piece is all you really need from one of these to move the needle for your company, and so you can come to these and you can get that one piece, or most of the time it's really like getting 5 or 10 pieces that you can immediately go and split test, and it makes a huge difference.
It scales super quick. So it goes from $10 a day I'm spending to $100 a day to $500 a day to $2,000 a day. So eventually I hit my Facebook limit of spending $5,000.
I'm gonna scroll through a little bit. So JD Bolt, we talked about multiple times, spoke at this event.
A real long-term business, scalable business, you're looking at LTV. The most important part of your sales process, the way I see it, is the first 15 seconds that they're on your upsell, because you finally have their undivided attention, and not only do you have their undivided attention, but there is money involved now. Before, it was just waning attention, but now the stakes have been raised because they've actually put down money.
So it's really all about freedom, and that's what I want them to take away. Ultimately, there's so many actionable things that can allow them to do that, like tools and tricks and strategies, and we teach that all day long. But really, I want them to be closer to achieving freedom in their lives.
So as a high-level copywriter, working on several funnels at once, part of 3 different companies, I become the bottleneck in those companies, and Stefan and Justin have done an amazing job by filling a huge missing gap in our market by providing a pond to fish from when it comes to copywriters. Just in the last week alone, we have like 4 or 5 different copywriters now that we're looking at and potentially going to be working with, and of course that's going to elevate the speed at which we can get our controls optimized and new controls up and running, which can be a game changer. Obviously, if it's just one person, now we have 4 or 5, we're going to grow the company a lot faster.
We work primarily with third-party affiliates, and then we mail.
So there's just kind of a couple examples of the talks that go on at the events. If you read my emails, you'd recognize Tanner. He is one of my original mentees that I taught how to write email copy. He ran the whole email list for Natural Health Sherpa. He currently runs VShred's email list. Went from folding clothes at Abercrombie and Fitch to now making over 200 grand a year writing emails, and is probably one of the best email marketers in the world now. So Tanner did a whole talk on everything that was working for them with email. I'll go through a couple more. Stefan and I obviously do talks. Let's see, we have, oh, there you go, Stefan and Eden.
Accelerator, it's kind of like a family,
yeah.
it's like a big family reunion. It's like coming home and meeting all of your relatives who you kind of know, but you just can't help but love them because they're so much like you and they actually understand you, support you in everything that you do. Let alone, a lot of them are super successful.
Every day,
So at this one, Mark Stockman and Jeff Radich, who run Natural Health Sherpa, which was doing, I don't know, 50, 60 million a year. They spoke. Chris Haddad, who's actually going to be speaking on the next one.
Fantastic group of people, like all these up and coming copywriters. I'm incredibly impressed by, you know, people that are doing 7, 8 figures in their business. It's been just a wonderful, amazing chance to connect with people, and I've actually learned a lot too. So, which after 15 years in the business is not always that easy to do.
When we used to pitch clients,
Jason Katasi, who's probably one of the best media buyers out there, talking about what's working on Facebook. Matt Harmon talked about native traffic, what was working for him.
Make sure your funnel got offers. And the way I look at
Tyler
our
Bramlett,
business and the way we're
super
gonna
smart
continue to grow our
marketer, talking
businesses,
about
and the way I teach some of the
AOV,
clients
lifetime
that I work
value.
with is really, I call it the bullseye, right? When traffic comes to your website, they
There's no other mastermind like it. There's no mastermind with the focus of scaling offers on cold traffic, which is literally what makes a business.
The caliber of the room is like every person who's the best at direct response is here. Also, everybody's pretty cool, so you just get to party and hang out with your friends.
So there you go. Little preview of what the events look like if you've been thinking about coming to an event. All right.
Like Justin got mesmerized by something.
The audio's kicked on. By the way, yeah, pop something in the chat right now if you are coming to the next event. I would like to see who's on the call who said they're coming. Awesome. Got a bunch of people. Hired a nanny just to come. There you go. Nice. Awesome. Great.
Raleigh, let's go.
Stefan, do you want to pull up the sales page for this, or the event page for this one?
Yeah, can you
break it down?
Give me co-host abilities, please?
Yes.
Mod, it's coming. Awesome. All right. Yeah, I mean, so we linked the sales page in the chat a couple of times here, and this is where you can kind of read about, more about the speakers and see some testimonials and stories and apply to attend. One quick note, and I'll get this in a second, but you get, when you buy your ticket, you get to join our mastermind. Basically, we add you for free up until the event, Copy Accelerator Lite, where you get you get feedback, because constantly for copywriters on this call, it's always like, how do I know if my copy is good or not? How do I know if I'm ready for clients? How do I know if I'm ready to charge more? Well, it's like one of the best ways is to have Saba Karimi and Mike Abramoff, two of the best copywriters in the world, look at your copy. There's also a third call that gets done every single week from Brian Sparonello around the business of freelancing. And he's doing a whole series starting August 4th on how to actually get clients at live events, whether you're there physically or virtually. So I'll come back to that stuff with the mastermind in a second, but I wanted to point that out. But yeah, this is the sales letter. Check it out. I laugh sometimes when people are like, like, why should you read it? It's like, all right, well, why are you here? Why are you on Justin and I's email list? And it's like, well, because you guys are some of the best copywriters and marketers on the planet. And we're like, oh, cool. So this is our sales letter that we think is good enough to then be promoting and sending to people. So even if you're kind of like 50-50 on coming, or you just sort of like curious, it's like, why would you not come read and study this sales letter, right? So I think everyone should click over using that link and check it out and save it and come back to it. Because even if you're like, I'm probably not going to go, hopefully you do come, because we have hundreds and hundreds of people there, and it's gonna be literally like the Super Bowl for direct response and e-com too. But I'd still save it and I click over to it. And then for those of you who want to apply, once you've eventually scrolled down through all of the amazing copy and awesome stuff about what you'll get in here, you just click here, right? And you go to an application page. And from there, Blake from our team will set up a phone call with you and you'll chat. Every time we bring this up, the application component is not like a big, are you good enough to come? It's like, we just want to make sure you're not a weirdo or a jerk. You can be a weird, actually, weirdo is not even fair, because like most people who are copywriters and marketers are weirdos too. So it's basically, don't be an asshole. If you're not an asshole, you're good. But I just want to get to know you. The reason for the application process seriously is because who are you? Where are you in your journey? What are your goals? How can we actually help you to get there, right? Like, we want to curate that. So when you're at the event, We can be like matching you with people you need. If you're an offer owner right now and you need copywriters, or you need help with scaling, or you need help with acquiring customers and media buying, like those people are all there. You know, it's like, how do I get this? How do I get that? It's like literally at this event, it's like all the people who can solve more or less all of your problems around scaling, you know, as a business owner, or getting clients as a copywriter, or like, you know, maximizing AOV, conversion rate. All of those people are like all in a room together, physically or virtually, or in this case, both, and can like literally one introduction can solve some problem that otherwise you might struggle with for 3 months or 6 months or a year. And that happens at these events. So apply. If you've been to one of our events previously, you don't have to reapply. You can just buy a ticket by clicking the blue link right here. And you should do that right. You know, I would love it if you come scroll here and click right now and schedule your application while you're on this call and just get it in. But no matter what, definitely save this letter and read through it and check it out. But best of all, just click on it right now. I'd be a bad direct response marketer if I didn't give you a hard call to action, right? So scroll down and click the button you see below this video right now to secure your spot. So the mastermind, right? You get into Copy Accelerator Lite. Here's our members area right now. So you can see that, like if you look at past earlier today, this slowly loads. Well, yesterday or Tuesday, we did a call. We do a weekly training call. It's hosted by Justin and I almost every time. Justin, because he was in Hawaii, wasn't on the one yesterday. So I had Laura as my co-host. I broke down my profit fix formula launch, the copy, the decisions being made, a bunch of little tricks I used, the rationale, how I selected the right upsell, the old upsell I almost did but didn't use, my upsell for profit fix formula converted at 58.97%. The front end was $37. The upsell was $140. My conversion rate was basically 60%. So I'm like, hey, here's how I actually picked this upsell. Here's what we had before. You know, shared all that with members. Laura was providing all these insights around, you know, like templates and crafting offers. So it was an awesome call. Then today we did a mindset call with Scott Mills. We had about 25 people on it. Scott was talking about mental blocks, things around, can you trust yourself? Am I good enough? All the mindset issues that we get at any single level. We do those like bi-weekly. Brian Sparinello and his weekly business of freelancing calls that he did today was awesome. And then, yeah, you look upcoming, right? Like we have a Facebook ads call every single week. We do bonus calls for business owners. Justin's got one this Friday with Alan Baylor, who was his former partner at 4 Patriots and just like a genius at scaling and breaking down offers. They're gonna be answering questions for business owners, talking about ways to grow and scale and hit, you know, mid 8 figures, 9 figures and beyond. You've got these copy feedback calls, like I mentioned. You get all of this stuff, plus our massive archive by buying a ticket to an event. And the event alone is like the golden ticket. Again, it's like the content, but really more than that, the people and the relationships and the experience. The people you meet are people that then you will be friends with and that you will work with and do partnerships with and grow with and scale with for years to come. It's just like the best. It's like every time it's the same thing in a good way. It's people, like people coming, some people dive right in, some people are resistant, then they decide to come. And then a lot of times they end up joining our mastermind, but regardless if they join the mastermind, they come to the event and then they're like, oh yeah, well, I'm glad I came. I got like 5 new clients, or this one thing helped us to then increase our average order value in our funnel by like $25 or $30. It's like every time the people who come get this massive ROI and this big win, including the people who are sort of on the fence, like every time. And
yeah, Stefan, I want to expand on that. So I would say the 2 main types of people that come to our event are copywriters and offer owners. For the copywriters, the biggest thing you will get out of the event is clients. We always joke that you're basically like the hot girl on an army base at a Copy Accelerator event, because all the offer owners are trying to hire you. There will be tons and tons of jobs being given out from every single niche. There will be health companies, there will be financial companies. We actually have 2 sessions where all the offer owners stand up and talk about exactly what they're looking to hire, and you can go and talk to them there. And talking to them at a live event is without a doubt better than emailing them or messaging them on Facebook. It's the best way to actually get a hold of them and get their attention. So if you're a copywriter or an inspiring copywriter, you should be there simply for the fact of connecting and getting high paying clients. If you're an offer owner, all the talks are focused on what's working now. So we do a lot of stuff on upsells and email and leads and stuff like that. It is actionable stuff that you can implement right away to get you wins, split test wins. So, I mean, this is the type of stuff where, okay, this person got a 30% bump changing this on their upsell. Now you could just simply implement the same thing and you get a bump as well. So to me, those are kind of the two biggest things that stand out. Whether you're a copywriter or you're an offer owner, or you're just kind of getting started and aspiring to be that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like light years ahead. It's like, and you know, another thing we've talked about before, but it's so true, is it really opens your mind to, I think for people who are earlier on, it really opens your mind to what's possible. You hear that too. People come being like, oh man, if I could make 5,000 a month or 10,000 a month, and then you meet people who are making like 100,000 a month, or like I don't know if I'm supposed to say what Troy Erickson is doing this month, but I hope he doesn't get mad. Like Troy Erickson's like way over $200,000 this month. So when he came to the first one he went to was the one back, we came to the first one in Austin. He didn't know anybody. That was back in 2019. And then he came to the one in Vegas in February of 2020, right before COVID. And Troy, like, you know, I think at that point, he maybe just had a $10,000 a month. Like I know before, in December of 2019, he never made more than $5,000 a month. And then, you know, basically after the event, it was like 20,000, 30,000, 20,000. And then he's, you know, been in the program a bit longer. Then it was like 80,000, 100,000. And now he's at over 200,000. And like the month's not even like, it's only 2/3 of the way through. I don't know. He might hit 300,000 plus this month. I really hope he doesn't get mad at me for sharing this, but it's like crazy what he's doing. Right. And he's like, well, I don't know what Troy is, like 24. But the point is, like, I'm not saying everyone's going to come and magically make like 200, 300, $400,000 a month right away, but your eyes just open to what's possible. Right. Because suddenly you're in the room with all these people, and it's not just him. Scott Millis, who did the mindset call today, said he's going to make over 500,000 this month or this year from copywriting alone, right? So he's going to $500,000 to copyright. It's not easy to do. You know, Randall Pruitt does it as well. Michael Roisin, you know, and like where he's journeyed. I mean, just person after person after person. So seeing it, you believe it, and it opens your mindset to what's possible, right? You're the product of the room. You're the product of the people you surround yourself with. So being in a room with these types of people who are at all levels, we have beginners and we love beginners. So if you're early on and you're thinking, I'm not ready, I'm not advanced enough, it's like, this is the way you move up the fastest, is by being at events like this. But like you will be inspired and you will take quantum leaps instead of like that sort of slow, steady kind of thing that's like 3, 4, 5 years from now. Is that when you're going to be ready? Like maybe, but if you go now, you get to where you want to go so much faster, right? This is like the shortcut. I don't know. We have just count hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stories to kind of back up what I'm saying. This is like it's amazing. I don't know anything that has this high of a success rate at changing people's lives as Copy Accelerator does. Like I don't know a single other coaching group, mastermind, whatever it is. And these events are where it all starts. And again, in addition to the ticket, you get to be in the mastermind, you get copy feedback, you get the community, you get the Facebook group, you'll network with people, you can go in and bond, and like, you know, you'll build relationships that then will like pay off as you get to the event. You know, you get well known, you raise your hand and you put yourself above the fold in the fray because you're like, hey, I'm someone who actually took action. It's unbelievable. So that's included as well. And of course, there's the Facebook groups we have. We have Copy Accelerator Full and Light. You get to go in both. You'll see us doing live copy breakdowns and feedback from members of Copy Accelerator Full. You'll see people having high-level conversations. You'll get tidbits, tips and tricks to put in. I mean, it's awesome. At the virtual event, right, for getting connected, we're working on a couple of different things. We're going to have like concierges, people who reach out to you, find out what you're looking for, and then make connections to you, whether it's like, you know, through Zoom or even just emails or things like that, but like helping to actually facilitate those connections for you still. We'll do like, you know, virtual like networking and sort of like meetups and parties and things of that nature. Obviously you'll have, you know, you'll be watching and interacting with all of this stuff. We'll have the chat up on the screen as we're presenting, so we can see what people are saying who are virtual, and we'll be able to actually like respond and interact with you as well as people in the room. So yeah, I mean, virtual, it was a huge thing for me, is like, I was like, yeah, we got to do virtual still, like a hybrid, right? But it was like, I don't want people who buy a ticket virtually to feel like really left out. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, we have to like, it's an in-person event, that's the preference, but we're like, well, for some virtual tickets, I don't want you sitting there being like, feeling like empty, like, I don't know, not happy about your decision. I want you to be like, holy shit, this was the most valuable decision I've ever made, right? Regardless of whether you go virtual or in person. So we're gonna make sure that we deliver very hard on the virtual side too. So yeah, I think like Blake mentioned in the chat, if you're even kind of 50-50, just schedule a call, just schedule a chat. You know what I mean? Like, you don't, we don't, I don't know what to tell you, like some people just won't believe it until you on the call, but there's no weird hard selling. Blake does not. Blake's like a laid back Australian. I mean, like he used to be special forces or whatever, but like you never know that because he's like just very mellow. So, get your questions answered, chat with Blake, find out, apply. And we'd love to see all of you there and hang out with you in person. You'll get a ton of FaceTime with Justin and I, a ton of time for us to help you. Again, at the opening night cocktail parties, like I go up to people and I'm just like, what do you need? What's the one thing that will make this event a success for you? And then like, I'm like literally trying to make connections at that opening night party, and we'll do it virtually as well. But like, I'm literally just trying to get you your ROI as fast as possible. I mean, I want you to have the ROI before you even attend, which you'll get from the Copy Accelerator community that you're in. But this is a huge thing for us. So yeah, that's all I got, Justin, if you want to add anything to it.
No, I don't have anything to add. And like I said, very similar though to what you said, that highly encourage you to just book a call with Blake even if you're on the fence, thinking about it, chat with him. He'll tell you straight up if he thinks you're a good fit or if you're not. And like Stefan said, we don't do the hard selling thing. So it's a chance for you to ask questions and to learn about the event and the program and kind of what it can do for you. I would say the last thing I want to say is, he said, how do we book a call with Blake? So that sales page link that we've been posting, go to that. And as you scroll down the page, you'll see a big orange button that says book a call, and feel free to click that and book a call. Yep, there you go. Qualify for the live Copy Accelerator Mastermind event. But yeah, I guess lastly, I just want to thank everybody for showing up today. I hope this webinar, this talk kind of gave you some good nuggets in terms of creating your own offer. I highly encourage you, if you are going to create your own offer, to focus on the things that we talked about. Don't get bogged down in the nitty gritty and the other stuff that really doesn't matter. The stuff that we talked about is what really matters when it comes to creating an offer that can scale and become $1 million offer. So yeah, thanks again for showing up. Thanks again for attending. I will post the replay of this on YouTube. Steph and I will send it out to our email list. And if you're in the Facebook group, we'll post it there as well. But yeah, thanks again for attending, and hope you guys have a good day, and hope to see you at the event at the end of August.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.